Yes, hello everybody. Welcome to the live stream today. We're going to talk about meal planning, how to prep your meals for fat loss if you're over the age of 50. I got a lot of questions about this all the time. We're going to talk about macros, proteins, fats, and carbs. I'm going to tell you what my favorite protein sources are, my favorite sources of carbohydrates and fats. We'll also talk about meal prepping, like how to properly prep your meals, like when you go to the supermarket, to make it so much easier to keep these healthy foods in the house. We're going to talk about how to get rid of your trigger foods. We're also going to go over meal structure. I'm going to break down exactly, whenever you're designing a meal, whenever you're getting a meal ready, exactly what you should look for, portion size and the type of foods that should be in your meals. And then at the very end, we're going to go over what concept that I really like. It's called the protein to leverage hypothesis, like how much protein you should be eating based on how many calories you're taking in. And then the last slide I have is going to be specific examples of meals, very similar to the meals I post on Instagram and on YouTube in my shorts. And actually, I did this same presentation. I have 12 slides to go through in my private coaching group. You know, if you're interested in joining my private coaching group and you want me to coach you one-on-one to lose weight, to improve your health, to get in amazing shape, you can just leave a comment below this video. Just say coach and I'll contact you with some information. And I'm actually broadcasting this in a number of different places. I'm on Facebook, 𝘾𝙊𝘾𝙃𝙄𝙉𝙂. I'm on LinkedIn, and I'm actually on YouTube. And if you have any questions, please ask your questions. I can actually pull the questions directly into the live stream. Let me get that box going. I think we got some people here already. Let's see. Good evening from the UK, Wales. Oh, that's so cool. Let's say hello to some people. I used to go live on YouTube every single Sunday, but I've been doing my private coaching on Sunday, so I may start going live every Saturday, maybe every other Saturday. Good evening from North Carolina. That's cool. I have a lot of family in North Carolina. That's great. Hey, Patel is here. Thanks, Patel. I haven't seen you in a while. Hey, Mike. I keep missing the live, but watch the videos later. You change the days. Yeah, I know. When I'm going live on YouTube now, I'm a little bit all over the place. I used to go live on YouTube every Sunday at 11 o'clock, but like I said, you know, my private coaching clients, that's the spot I gave them, Sunday at 11 o'clock. So I'm going to try to pick a different spot to do these live streams all the time now. But I'm glad you found it. Hey, Gwen is here. Thanks, Gwen. Thanks for showing up. Hey, Mike, I finally noticed you were live. That's great. Thanks for showing up, Gwen. So, and you know, I asked you questions along the way. I think you're going to like this presentation, though, because I've done it before in the private group, and people seem to really like it. Hello from Central Texas. Yeah, we got a whole bunch of people from Texas here. I got a lot of people, even in my private group, I got some people from Texas. Chris is from Texas. I think he'll be here today, Chris. He already contacted me. All right, so let's get right to it. Let me go first. Let's first talk about protein. You know, out of all the macronutrients, like if you guys don't know, people thought these terms were like micros, macros. Macros just mean like proteins, fats, and carbs are your big three macronutrients. Like micronutrients, like your vitamins, minerals, things like that. So your big macros are protein, fats, and carbs. A lot of people, when I post my meals, are saying to me, Mike, like, where's the protein? Where are the carbohydrates? Where are the fats? I'm going to really drive this point home really strong with all these slides. Like, I even repeat myself in the second section of this presentation because I have 12 slides to go. But let's first go over my favorite types of protein. And this is how I analyze protein. And I made a little note on that slide. I hope you can see the slide. It's the protein to calorie ratio. And this is one of the ways I would judge whether you're eating a good source of protein or a bad source of protein. For example, the best. Let me give you an example like fish. Like fish, if you're eating like a very low-fat, lean fish, like a flounder, like a fluke, it's going to be very high in the percentage of protein compared to total calories, as opposed to going with like a very fatty cut of meat. Let's say you're having a brisket or pastrami or corned beef. The protein to calorie ratio is not going to be great. That means you're going to have to take in you may have to take in 800-900 calories to get 50 grams of protein. But if you're going with something like a lean piece of white fish, or you're going with shellfish like shrimp, or you're going with scallops, if you're going with beef, which I love, an incredible source of protein, go with the lean cuts. I'm not one of these like keto guys or carnivore people who want you to eat high fat, fatty cuts of meat, because the calories get out of line. You know, there's three things you gotta keep an eye on when you're losing weight: calories, calorie deficit, number one; number two, eating enough protein, and I like to say three, eating enough fiber too. Let me see. I think we got some questions already. Hey Mike, I weigh Let me pull this question in. Hey Mike, I weigh 165. I would like to get to 225. What should I do? That's like a typical question I get, and I make all these videos. First of all, number one, like I say, have to get into a calorie deficit. A general formula I like to use is I tell people to generally multiply their body weight by 10. You know, I think that's a reasonable, manageable calorie deficit. That's somewhat manageable for some people. You might want to be a little bit more aggressive. It's up to you. But if you started working with me one-on-one, first of all, I want to get to know you better, see how active you are. If you're reasonably active, even if you're not working out but you're moving around a lot, I might not want to start you as high as 2,650 calories. That's if you multiply your weight. I may want you to be more down to your goal weight of 225. I probably would start you at about 2,250 calories a day. That's where I probably would start. Just see if you can do it, see how it feels. So number one, calorie deficit. Number two, I want you to eat an adequate amount of protein. I would multiply your goal weight by 0.7. So I have my phone right here. Let me do this for you right now. So we're going to take 225, which is your goal weight. We're going to multiply that by 0.7. That's 157 grams of protein a day. I want you eating at least 160 grams of protein a day. So when it comes to your protein, it relates to the slide. So to get 150 grams of protein in, you don't want to take in a crazy amount of calories because we're giving you a calorie limit of 2,250 calories a day. So you want to go with the choices like the best: whitefish, shellfish, lean beef, poultry, eggs, lean cuts of pork, turkey, things like that. The second thing I'm going to want you to do to hit that 225, I want you to walk on every single day, right? I like to say 60 minutes. I know it's hard, and I like to split it up in 2 walks, 30 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes in the afternoon. I'm still in a fasted state right now. What's it, 1:30? I did an hour on my treadmill. It's really crummy weather in New York today, crazy windy. And we had an earthquake yesterday, right? I guess you guys heard that. We had a 4.8 earthquake in New York City. My gym was shaking and we had a couple at what do they call this when you have tremors afterwards? There was a couple of 2. The weights in my gym were clanging. It was really, really kind of crazy. I was training someone, right? So then calorie deficit number 1, right? 150, 160 grams of protein, number 2. Number 3, walk 60 minutes every day. Number 4, you got to do resistance training, right? You got to lift some weights. You want to maintain your muscle mass when you're losing weight. I'd like to maybe 30 minutes, 2-3 times per week, full body on non-consecutive days. And then I would probably also put you on like a 16-8, meaning where you fast for 16 hours every day. You're taking all your calories with those 150, 160 grams of protein within that 8-hour eating window, just because it makes it so much easier to stay within your calorie limits when you just shrink up your eating window. So I would probably either skip breakfast or skip dinner. Do that. I mean, the weight will start falling off. It will. Especially at 265, the first week you'll lose a ton of water weight because you're going to be depleting glycogen stores. And that's a general equation. This is another, okay, I'm 5'10", 193, like to be 160, not very active right now, very out of shape. Also, I have limited funds. Advice: I would do the same thing I was telling the guy before you. I'm not sure, man or woman. I can't tell, from this picture. But I think you're a man. Great. I would do the same thing. I would probably stay somewhere between 1,900 and 1,600 calories a day. In your case, since you're you want to be more like my weight, maybe eat 130, 140 grams of protein a day, 60 minutes of walking, weight training 3 days a week. Do that. You'll see. I'm going to give you all exact, specific examples of meals with. Oh, great, thanks. Let's see. Gwen's got a question. I have gained weight since. Okay, this is Gwen. I have gained weight since last time we talked. I'm 5'1", 155. Okay, Gwen. I mean, you can turn around. I know you had some ups and downs with the weight. If you put together some good weeks, then you had some challenging weeks. I would do something very similar to what I'm telling everyone here, Gwen. I think you know my formula. Try to get about 15, 1,600 calories a day. Right? In your case, maybe 110, 120 grams of protein a day. Walk until you just can't take it any longer. It's just good for your mental health, and you're going to burn some calories. I would walk like crazy, walk everywhere, be as active as you can. Some type of resistance training. Like we got a question here, calisthenics okay? Absolutely, calisthenics are okay. Any form of resistance training. You don't have to go to a gym. You don't even have to lift weights. You can do body weight squats, air squats, lunges, modified pliés, right? Planks, push-ups. You can do them with a countertop. So, Gwen, maybe 20 minutes, 3 days a week of resistance training. Stick to that 16-8. I think you can start. You'll start losing weight, Gwen. You definitely will. And hopefully I'll keep you motivated. I'm going to try to do these on YouTube pretty regularly now if I can too. How do you feel about fasting 1 day a week? You mean a 24-hour fast? I think it's great. Great way to eliminate calories. when you get into those longer fasts, like over 17, 18, 19 hours, you do upregulate autophagy. I know it's kind of confusing. Autophagy is somewhat of a never-ending process anyway. Like, everyone's getting autophagy, even if you don't fast. But generally, when you fast, you go into that recovery mode, right? mTOR is downregulated, AMPK. I mean, like, you're pretty much like fixing everything. Like, all those weakened damage organelles get recycled in the body. A lot of people are really into autophagy and they fast for autophagy. So I think there's something to it, doing a 24-hour fast. But still, the number one benefit, in my opinion, no calories for 24 hours. I've done it I do OMAD every Sunday for that reason. Like, today I'm probably going to overeat a little bit, because I generally Saturday night I may have a glass of wine or two, and I may overeat a little bit tonight. So Sunday I fast for 22 hours, taking all my calories in a 2-hour eating window. That's my low-calorie day. A 24-hour fast once a week, I love it. I think it's a great thing to do. And it's good for it builds mental strength too, because you know that you don't have to eat, right? If you can fast for 24 hours, you're not going to be that person who goes to the restaurant saying, I'm starving, give me the bread. Miss a meal, what's the big deal? You missed a meal. You just fasted 24 hours. What's the big deal if you miss a meal, right? It's all, guys and gals, it's all maintaining an optimal weight. It's all about calories. It really is. That's my main reason why I like intermittent fasting and time-restricted eating so much. Out of trying everything, I mean, I've been doing this. I've owned my gym for 37 years. I've been doing this for 40 years. This intermittent fasting, this time-restricted eating, these 18-6, 16-8, or 24-hour fast once or twice a week of the OMAD diet done intermittently, I've had the most success with people getting them to lose weight and maintain an optimal weight by just shrinking the eating window. It really does. It makes it so much simpler. When you try to, when you give yourself like 6-7 meals a day, the opportunity cost, I mean, you can mess up so easy when you're eating. If you say to yourself, like my favorite diet, and you guys know since you follow me a little bit, 2 meals a day within that 8-hour eating window, plus a protein snack. It could be a protein bar, could be a protein shake. I know people get on my case for recommending that, the bioavailability, and there is some junk in them, but I still think it's fine. It's so much better than a million other things you can eat. Or just have like a Greek yogurt, in between those 2 meals. You can do really, really good with that. How do you feel about when we did that? Where's my gym? I'm in Westchester, New York, my gym. I'm about 30 minutes north of Manhattan. I've only lived for 37 years, but I've moved it around. I've been in this location maybe 15 years or so. All right, so these are my favorite sources of protein are the animal sources, because let's see, another question. After a celebration day or overeating, how is it best to get back on track? 18-hour fast or 24-hour fast, EJ? Truthfully, whatever works for you. But I love exactly what you're saying, and that's what I recommend to all my personal coaching clients. This is what I always recommend. This is my rule in general. Don't have 2 bad days in a row when it comes to anything like this. You overeat one day, you got to nip it the next day. Do an 18-hour fast. Do a 20-hour fast. Fast for 24 hours, even 16-8. Do a low-calorie day. You start putting 2-3 bad days together, then you're off to the races, you give up. Same thing with drinking. My rule is alcohol. I'll never drink 2 days in a row, no matter what. I just don't. Like, if I have some drinks, I didn't even have a drink last night, but if I didn't have a drink last night, if I have a drink tonight, which I probably will, Saturday night, me and my wife might have a little wine or something, I won't drink tomorrow. I probably won't drink for a couple days. But you can't have 2 bad eating days in a row. I would nip, and I love what you're saying. It could be anything. Whatever works best for you to have a low-calorie day. Whether it's an 18-hour fast, whether it's a 16-hour fast, whether it's 2-MAD, OMAD, whatever you want, it has to be a low-calorie day just to nip it. And psychologically, you know that you know the system. And you can enjoy yourself. You can go out now and then. You can overeat 1 day a week. It's probably even a good thing because it's good to cycle calories. It kind of like boosts your metabolism. But you have to follow it by a low-calorie day. So I love that question, EJ. Any way you want to do it. Okay, so always keep in mind the protein-to-calorie ratio. Since I brought up Greek yogurt, like Greek yogurt is like a rock star of protein when it comes to the protein-calorie ratio. I'll give you an example. If you had a plain Greek yogurt, only 80 calories in a plain Greek yogurt. You know how many calories is protein? 60. There's 15 grams of protein, 4 calories per gram. So out of 80 calories, 60 of them is protein. Talk about the protein to calorie ratio. You can't beat it. For example, though, you could try to get it from like beans. Well, I'm not against beans. I mean, I think it's fine. But if you're trying to get 15 grams of protein from eating beans, your calories are going to be so much higher, or quinoa or something, you know, or like from like a fatty piece of pastrami or brisket. For you to get 15 grams of protein, you could be 300 calories as opposed to 80. That's what I mean by the protein to calorie ratio. Think about how many calories you're always taking in. That's why I'm such a big believer in at least once in your life, you got to track calories, guys and gals. You do. I know you don't want to do it, and it seems like it's like annoying. Use MyFitnessPal, use Lose It. I have my own app, and I coach people online. I want to see what they're eating every day. That's the only, I need the data, right? I want the information. You'll be shocked. Whenever I have a new person start tracking calories, they are shocked how many calories they're eating. 100 calories over maintenance is 10 pounds a year, right? You got to see where your calories are coming from. Okay, let's see. Greek yogurt has at least 10% fat. Is it good? Well, there's all different types of yogurt. You can get plain yogurt. The 3 that I generally buy is plain with like no fat, 0 fat. Okay, it's like, I would just think of it as like skim milk in a way. But Greek yogurt is more, it's strained, so it's more concentrated for the amount of protein. Like a typical plain yogurt may only have 4 grams of protein. A Greek yogurt could have 14, 15. Then sometimes I go with 2%, where the protein to calorie ratio won't be as good. Sometimes I go with like a full fat, which is 5%. Right? Then that's like 140 calories, 14 grams of protein. You lose a gram of protein. So that's what we mean by the protein to calorie ratio. If you're looking to reduce calories while keeping your protein up, keep that in mind. It's a key number. People don't really talk about it, but physique athletes and bodybuilders know all this stuff. I mean, this is how they would evaluate protein, especially when they're looking to drop some body fat for a contest where they're getting on stage. They want to take in the protein. They don't want the calories. Well, let's see. Okay. Mike, can the protein shake be at night? I'm assuming you mean to say, can the protein shake, Nikki? Can the protein shake be at night? It can, but I would say there's so much research on this. This is one of the areas when it comes to like nutrition and when it comes to just dieting that pretty much everyone's in agreement on, pretty much, that you shouldn't be eating calories late at night. There's so much research that says you wake up the next morning, your blood sugar gets higher. It's hard to get a good night's sleep. You got to digest the food, you're going to plop in bed. So it's okay to do, I think, a shake or something at night. But I would give yourself 2-3 hours before bed. You don't want that food laying in your stomach. This is something that bodybuilders many, many years ago would do. They wake up in the middle of the night, they drink a protein shake or have some chicken or something because they always wanted protein in the bloodstream. But there's so much new research out there saying that, when you eat protein, you can take in like so much more than they used to believe. They used to believe for decades, 20, 30 grams is the most you can use for protein synthesis. That's been pretty much blown out of the water nowadays. You can probably take in upwards of 100 grams. I did a video on it from a recent study. Your body slows down the digestive process. You can utilize that protein over 12 hours. So that concept of doing like waking up at night to taking in some protein really doesn't make sense anymore. You can definitely do a protein shake at night, but just give yourself a couple hours before bed. Hey, Susan's here. Hey, Sue. I'm curious to know how you're doing. I hope you're doing good. I wonder if you're following the calorie formula. I know you did it a couple of weeks and you didn't see, and it didn't really work that well for you, but I hope you're stuck with it. I hope it's working. I hope everything's well with you. Give me a text whenever you get a chance. I never saw you mention oats anywhere in your video shorts. Oats, okay. I think oats are fine. I personally don't eat too many grains. Generally 1 day a week, and I'll probably do it tonight. I buy 3-ingredient Italian bread. If you're from New York, there's a neighborhood in the Bronx called Arthur Avenue, which is kind of like, it's almost like a tourist attraction. It's right near the Bronx Zoo in the Bronx. And you can still get 3-ingredient bread there, meaning like all it is like flour, salt, wheat, like just really basic. Oats is like that too. I think it's fine to have some oatmeal or oats. I personally don't do it. I used to do it years ago. To me, it's somewhat empty calories. There's not too much nutrition in bread and oats and rice. So when I come, you'll see when I get to the slide on carbohydrates, I want like nutrient dense type carbs. I want high fiber carbs. I want vitamins, minerals, nutrients in my carbohydrates. And I stick to a moderate carb diet. Not that you have to. The 2 most important things, like I always say, calories and protein. When it comes to how much fats and how many carbs you're eating, depends on what your goals are, depends on your lifestyle, depends on what you like. I mean, you can lose weight eating eating Twinkies if you're in a calorie deficit, right? Obviously, you're not going to be healthy because your blood, your blood work may not be as good, and you may lose muscle mass and blah blah blah. But calories is key. Thank you for your, oh no, thanks, I appreciate it. So let's go over the protein, look at the next slide. So the best, I think, animal protein, lean cut. Second best would be like the dairy, like low-fat dairy, vegetables, legumes, essential amino acids. And this is what I would avoid at all costs. Processed meats, fried foods, high-fat beef, like a brisket or pastrami. Or, obviously, it's common sense, but you don't want to eat a ton of calories. You don't want to take a nice piece of flounder, bread it with those garbage breadcrumbs that have so much high fructose corn syrup in it, then fry it up in some oxidized vegetable oil. You take a beautiful piece of fish and you just destroy it, right? So, be conscious of good sources of protein. Let me see, we got some other questions coming in. Let's see what we got. I'm also getting a lot of texts. Let me just check this, because I wonder if some of my clients are texting me, because they can't seem to. Not your number. Okay, I'm not sure what that is. Driver chat. I think we're getting some deliveries. Okay, let's see. Vonda. Okay. Hey Mike, I've been trying to lose 20 pounds by June 30th. I fast every day, 18-6, 24, sometimes 23-1. So sometimes you're doing OMAD. I work out Monday through Thursday. Monday, total strength class, group power class. Let me pull that back. Class cardio. I mean, I sounds like you're doing good. I'm assuming it's working. If it's working for you, great. The only thing I would say is that, like, everything I'm going to be talking about today, your protein, your fats, and carbs, all I would say is that I would still track everything just to see where you're at. You might even be too aggressive. You don't want to be malnourished and not get enough protein in. I would just, since you're working out a lot and you're doing all this stuff, first of all, I would make sure you're taking in enough protein. Multiply your body weight by 0.7. Make sure you're eating that many grams. See where you are calorie-wise. And I mean, I like everything you're doing, but in your case, maybe once you hit your goal weight in June 30th, I probably want you to take a diet break, because it sounds like what you're doing is very aggressive. Like, it's not good to stay in a calorie deficit for too long and go into that like metabolic adaptation and somewhat starvation mode. Maybe once you hit your goal weight, it may be a little challenging at first. Try to figure out what your maintenance calories are, where you're not gaining and not losing, and hang out there for a while. Eat really healthy, stabilize, and then see what you want to do. Whether you want to lose more, where you're happy right there. Just keep that in mind, though. My general rule is with everyone is kind of like every 8 to 10 weeks, if they really are in the calorie deficit. Most people... tell me they're in a calorie deficit I'm working with, but then when I start seeing everything they're eating, they're doing, I'm seeing, they were in a calorie deficit, they went on vacation, or maybe they got a cold and they ate more for a couple of weeks, and so I don't have to give them a diet break. But if they're truly in a calorie deficit and they've been consistently losing weight for, say, 8 weeks or so, I want them to take a diet break. It's good for your metabolism to jump up a little bit, which is great. This is Susan. I did text you the other day. Guess I didn't get it, Susan. I did not get it. I would love to, but I'll find your number, and I didn't get it. But sometimes I get it. If you didn't text me, if you text me on my phone number, I'll always see it. But I'm getting so many DMs every day, like 100 DMs on Facebook and Instagram, and it's all integrated. I don't know where it's coming from sometimes, so I could have missed it if you messaged me. But if you text me on my phone number, I should have got it, but I didn't. I'll look. Okay. Wednesday, total strength. Thursday, another total strength. Class cardio. I meal prep. Eat keto. Can't lose weight. I'm surprised then. If you're doing everything you're doing, first of all, I'm not the biggest fan of keto. I mean, I've done the keto diet and I've been in ketosis, and I used to like dip in and out of ketosis a lot. The only thing I don't like keto, if you're doing like traditional keto, and you're doing all this working out, in my opinion, you're not getting enough protein. If you're doing like traditional keto, it's really only like 10% protein. But if you're doing more of a higher protein, like a modified keto, what I would say to you, Vonda, is I would track everything with an app. Use MyFitnessPal, lose it. You have to see where you are. I did a video on the 𝘾𝙊𝘼𝘾 one time called about the fat, like the fat flex, meaning like people can gain weight on a keto diet if you're taking in too many calories. And it's easy to take in a lot of calories when you're doing high fat type foods. So I would track everything, or there would be two scenarios I would think about for you if you're not losing weight. One scenario is you've just been too aggressive, working out like a lot, and you've been doing this fasting stuff for a while. If you've been doing this for months, and maybe you just haven't been taking in enough calories for a long time, you could be in somewhat starvation mode a little bit, So you may want to take a diet break. The other scenario, which is the complete opposite, is you don't realize how many calories you're eating. Even with all the fasting, even with the keto, you might just be taking in above your maintenance calories and you're not losing weight. Those would be my 2 scenarios for you. A third scenario would be, I don't know what your age is, if you're in a menopause or something like that, that's always an issue. If you're not sleeping, if you're stressed out, if you're not sleeping and your cortisol levels are high. I mean, those are factors. I find those are much less factors than people actually think, though. It is obviously menopause. Like, I'm 61. My wife went through menopause. My mother. I've trained hundreds of women who have, and it's no question about it. It's more challenging. It just is. But it doesn't necessarily mean that, like, you still got to keep an eye on calories, eat protein, work out, and it's still the same. I would want people in menopause to do the same things. Obviously, work with a healthcare provider to maybe get your numbers in line if things are really out of whack. But I would do the things that I said. See how it goes. That's Susan saying, not your number. Okay. Okay. Oh, Chris. Thanks so much, Chris. Chris is such a wonderful guy. Super chat. I appreciate it. This is my first super chat in a while. I haven't been on YouTube. Great advice, Coach. Thanks for helping me. Yeah, Chris lost over 70 pounds. It's incredible. His wife did the same thing. I am so thrilled. He reversed type 2 diabetes. He's done so incredibly well. Chris is in my private coaching group. He shows up every Sunday for the live stream, which I would love. I wish everyone would. I find that people that show up for my Sunday live stream are the ones that do the best with my coaching program. No question about it. But there's a lot more to the coaching program. There's multiple one-on-one calls. There's the group coaching every Sunday. Every 2 weeks we do a video call. I text you and contact you every single day. Like, I want to look at the app and see what you've eaten, if you've done the exercise program and the diet plan I've given you. And it's a ton of accountability. If you want to do it with me, you got to be ready. But you will do. People do incredibly well. Chris has done incredibly well. Okay, thanks for the info. Oh, sure. Okay, so I catch up on all the questions. Okay, great. So let's go on so carbs. These are my favorite type of carbs. So the person who asked about the oats, if you notice, I wouldn't put grains anywhere near on top of the list. Okay, how can we join? There's actually a link below. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link below this. You can click a link, you answer a few questions, and then you can book a free video call with me. You'll see the price of the coaching program. I just raised the price actually as of April 1st. You'll see the price of the coaching program, then you can do a free video call to see if we're a good fit. So if you notice, that's what I see. I don't get what I consider the best types of carbs to eat are the high fiber, nutrient dense type carbs. Let me see. Snoop Dogg camera ending. Not sure what that means, but Snoop Dogg. I know the rapper Snoop Dogg. That's what you mean. Camera? I'm not sure what you mean. Hello, Mike. Hey, how you doing? Great to see you. Thanks for showing up. So a lot of my regulars are showing up from Sunday. That's great. Okay, so my favorite type of carbohydrates are definitely the low sugar, high fiber carbs. Obviously, you're gonna know what they are: vegetables, leafy greens. I eat arugula pretty much every single day. It's almost like these leafy greens are almost like free foods. You get some fiber, they fill you up. I love arugula. I love the bitter taste of it. But really, pretty much every vegetable is great: asparagus, tomatoes, peppers. Tomatoes are fruit, but peppers, Brussels sprouts. Everything is great. I eat an avocado every day. It's a fruit. Why I love avocado so much is that 13, 14 grams of fiber in an avocado. You can get half your fiber for the day with one avocado. Most people don't even eat 10 grams of fiber. So I like to eat 20, 25 grams of fiber, if not more. I'm probably close to 35, 40 in a day. That's why I don't even think it's bad to have. That's why I don't think it's bad to have a Quest protein bar or a no-cal protein bar, because they're high fiber protein bars. Yes, you're getting a little bit of like monk fruit and stevia and some emulsifiers, but it's almost like taking a fiber supplement, those protein bars. That's why I like them so much. If you eat an avocado and a Quest bar every day, you're at 30 grams of fiber right there, which is incredible. Okay, I cut out processed food, sugar, and meat, and started losing weight really fast. That sounds great. I love that plan. That's exactly everything I'm talking about here. That's why I would look at, even though all carbohydrates are sugar, right? Whether it's a vegetable or whatever, but I would look at carbohydrates that like spike blood sugar the least, and so you can't compare like 100 calories of like rice to 100 calories of broccoli. The vitamins, minerals, and nutrients in the broccoli is just going to blow it away. Plus, broccoli on a percentage basis is actually high in protein, which is amazing. So these are all my favorite type of carbs, like vegetables, fruits, avocados, and I also love fermented foods. I try to eat fermented foods every single day. It feeds the good bacteria in your stomach, good for gut health. So if I don't have sauerkraut, I'll have pickles. And I don't buy the vinegar pickles, it's the old-fashioned pickles, Kimchi, I'm not a big fan of kimchi. I know people love it though, but I think that's a great choice. You know, yogurt, I eat a lot of Greek yogurt. The plain or no fat or maybe 2%, all fermented food, which is great. My second set of carbohydrates, and I do eat these, no question about it, but when it comes to the calories, they're actually going to be higher in calories in general than the vegetables and the fruits and the leafy greens. You know, tubers, maybe sweet potatoes, yams, low sugar, you know, fruits like the berries and raspberries. I eat blueberries almost every single day too. And I think beans and stuff and whole grains are fine. Just keep an eye on the calories. And when you're looking at these whole grains, just make sure you're not getting the highly processed ones, the ones that have high fruit. If you see high fructose corn syrup in anything, you should be careful. I would try to avoid it. And you know, actually, I've been hooked listening to Gary Brecker a lot lately, and he always talks about folate. Like when you see fortified on any type of like cereal, cookie, or grains, that means they're adding like folic acid. He feels that half the population has a mutation, like a genetic mutation, where you can't really process and absorb like B vitamins like folate, B6, B12. And that's why he's into taking methylated vitamins. I started taking a methylated vitamin after listening to him. I always took New Chapter Every Man, which I still do. That's a natural food vitamin, meaning that nothing's synthetic. So like, for example, vitamin E would be like dehydrated carrots. It's almost like eating food. You can take these vitamins on an empty stomach. Now I also started taking a methylated vitamin. And think of methylation as like, he explains like this, which makes sense. It's like crude oil and gasoline. You can't put crude oil in your gas tank. You can put gasoline, so it's refined. That's what a methylated vitamin is. It's almost like pre-digested in a way. It's like, it's refined. So even if you have this mutation where you can't absorb and process these B vitamins, you can if you take the methylated form. So that's interesting. So I would also avoid, you know, fortified cereals, and plus cereals nowadays, most of it's all it's all sugar, right? And obviously these are the carbs you really want to avoid, like we're talking about. High sugar carbs, high fructose corn syrup, obviously like soda. You don't want to drink your calories, and we all know what they are. It's the junk food, the cookies, the cakes, the donuts, the chips, the pretzels, the candy, the soda, right? The ice cream. Some ice cream I think is okay, like a Breyers. If you didn't get ice cream, you know, just a plain Breyers where you're getting milk and sugar and no high fructose corn syrup is just keep a track of the calories. But I have clients where, like when it comes to foods like that, let's say you love ice cream. I say you can't do like the Haagen-Dazs or if you look at the ingredients, there's a big list, there's a whole bunch of junk in there. You look at Breyers, it's like sugar, milk, cream, that's it. I always tell people, get a pre-measured cup, meaning like, you know, you ever go to those French restaurants to get those little servings? There'll maybe be like a, what would be there? I wouldn't say creme brulee, some type of a custard or flan, where I'd say just take one of those, just pack that to the top with the ice cream. You know you're getting 200, 250 calories, and that's it. I'm a big believer in measuring everything, even olive oil. When I'm sauteing vegetables, I pour a tablespoon, 140 calories. Now, this is where the calorie creeps into your life. Measure things like that. Never just take olive oil and pour it in the pan when you're sauteing vegetables. You can pour 300-400 calories of olive oil like in a blink. Same thing with ice cream. If you're going to have a treat like that, don't take a big bowl and just scoop it out. You can scoop half a gallon of a pint of ice cream in a second. Use a little container, like a glass. Sometimes I take it too fucking. I'm a little neurotic. I'll even do like, I have these like 1.5 size shot glasses. Sometimes I'll just pack a little ice cream in a shot glass like that and have that as a treat. You know, you got to keep an eye on calories. It's so important. And this is my slide on fats. These are my favorite types of fats. Even though when I look at when you eat a whole natural food diet, meaning that you're eating animal protein like meats and eggs and avocados, right? And you're cutting back on those empty calories like the cookies, the cakes, the junk, even the bread, the pastas, things like that. And if you put all your food in an app, you're going to see most of your calories are actually going to come from fat. But I like to say the term, but you're not chasing fat. Like without like buttering things, like I wouldn't put butter on a steak. You know, there's so much flavor and healthy fat in a steak. Why put butter on it? You know, like I wouldn't put butter in my coffee. I wouldn't try to increase the amount of fat in my diet. Yes, I would use extra virgin olive oil, and I would just eat foods that have natural fat in them, like whole eggs, like avocados, like sardines and salmon, which are high in omega-3s, the healthy fats. That's where the fat's going to come from your diet, not by adding fat. And you do want to avoid those seed oils. So the best source is extra virgin olive oil. Just the fat naturally found in the whole healthy food you're eating, like the eggs, the nuts, the avocados. You know, the lean meat, right? The chicken, the fish, things like that. A little bit of butter now and then, but I would minimize it. Another oil that I use from time to time is an avocado oil. It has a high burn rate. Sometimes I may use avocado oil if I'm doing sauteing my vegetables, but I love the taste of extra virgin olive oil though, so I lean more with that. Okay, let me see, we got a couple of questions here. Okay, Mike, do you eat chicken, fish? Yeah, every single day I eat one of those. I eat animal protein. I mean, you look at my meals. I mean, you'll see. I eat a ton of chicken, a ton of fish, a ton of meat. But you don't really see. I don't really get fatty cuts of meat. Even a ribeye steak, I really don't. Because even though it tastes wonderful, that would be a real treat for me. But that's not in my everyday cooking. You know, you'll see when we get to the meal prep. In your everyday life, like in 9 to 5, 6 days a week, you got to be good. But if I went to a great restaurant and I saw a ribeye steak and it looked incredible, I would get in a second. But that's not something that I would eat on a normal basis because the fat is just too high on a ribeye steak, you know, for me. What about cooking spray? Extra virgin olive oil and avocado oil, perfect. It doesn't calories. Okay, it doesn't calories. Can you see that? Yeah, no. Well, I would look on the can. It's a hard thing to measure, truthfully. Like, you know, like when you spray, I have both of those in my house. Extra virgin olive oil with a spray. We get them at Trader Joe's, very affordable. Avocado oil as well too, but you can't do a heavy hand spray. You know, you just do a quick mist. You know what I mean? Sometimes I do this. Sometimes even if I do this for my kids, one of the things I make for my family that they love is chicken cutlet parmesan. I use fresh mozzarella. I make my own sauce, and if I bread the chicken, it's just plain breadcrumbs. But I won't fry it. I bake it. That's where a little bit of spray of extra virgin olive oil on the chicken cutlets, it really works well. They come crispy, the calories are down. I didn't fry them up. You know, I love it. I think that is great. Cooking spray, yeah, that's good. Okay, so let's go next slide. Okay, let's get into a little bit of the meal prep. There's a couple things that, and this is all the stuff like if you work with me online, like one of my private clients, these are the things I talk about with people in these one-on-one calls constantly, like meal prepping. First off, I'm gonna go to the second part of this slide. You got to get the trigger foods out of the house. That's key. Like, what are trigger foods? Trigger foods are foods that once you start eating them, you just can't stop and you know they're unhealthy. Like for me, I talk about it all the time. Potato chips is my trigger food. You'll never find, or very rarely will you find potato chips in my house, because if there's a bag of potato chips, once I open the bag is gone. I'm going to eat the whole bag. I love potato chips, right? And for years, like my wife used to bring me potato chips when I first started dating her. You know, my mother's like, oh, Mike, you love chips. She always bringing, when she came to my house, apartment, she's bringing me potato chips. I had to tell my mother, don't bring me the chips. I had to tell my girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife, don't bring me potato chips. You got to do the same thing. You got to take 10, 15 minutes, sit down, write down what your trigger foods are. You know, whatever they might be, and get them out of the house. Tell your spouse, to whoever you're living with, please don't. I know people love to bring people, if you're like a milk chocolate person, and everyone knows you love milk chocolate, like your mom comes to your house, she brings you milk chocolate, you know, you can't keep these foods in the house. It's not a good thing. Let's see if we got a question here. Ace, okay. I have chip, yeah, you have a chip addiction. What can I replace chips with? I've tried popcorn, pork rind. I still doesn't cut my craving. I know chips, it's interesting. There's a couple of things with chips that I find with people. I don't really love popcorn either, and the pork rings I don't like at all. I know keto people like that. I find when it comes to chips, it could either be the crunch sensation that you like the crunchiness of a chip, or you could be low in sodium. I find it's the sodium. My wife has this a little bit. Like she would want pretzel that night, and she said, Mike, I want the heavy salt ones. If you buy me pretzel, it could be the heavy salt pretzels. I started doing this every morning, and I love it. Like I buy that, you can use Celtic salt, but I like that Redmond salt. That's the salt from Utah, that high mineral salt. I take a 1/4 teaspoon, which is 500 milligrams of sodium, and I pour it in a pint glass, like a beer glass, fill it up to top with water, drink that down. I love it. I still so hydrate. It hydrates me, makes me feel good. You could be a little low on sodium. I think it might be that. Unless you like that crunch sensation. Otherwise, I mean, what could you do? I mean, I would switch to things like unsalted nuts. If you want the salt, maybe a little bit of salted nuts, but keep an eye on the calories. You know, you may not like what I'm going to say, but like carrot sticks and celery sticks and things like that late, you know, at night. It's hard to replace a chip sensation. It is, if you love the crunch. Not many other things that are crunchy. I would just say tough it out for a couple of weeks. It'll probably be out of your mind. Don't bring them in the house. You know, you may have 2 hard weeks. I think 2 weeks is the magic number. Like whatever habit you want to improve, if you can somehow put together 2 weeks. I find that even with alcohol with people, it becomes a habit. You stop drinking for 2 weeks. The rest of the time it's easy. It's getting over those first 2 weeks is the hardest part. And also, well, this may help you a little bit too, Ace. When it comes to the meal prep, I also recommend, you know, you keep all these healthy foods in the house. Like I always have hard-boiled eggs. I always have Greek yogurt. I always have an avocado. I always have cans of sardines, cans of salmon. I always have a big, I think this is my next slide. I always have a big bowl of something. I shouldn't say bowl, I mean a big pot of something in my refrigerator always. For me, I do 3 things. I do my chili. You know, people love the chili recipe. If you want my chili recipe, I make this bison buffalo chili. I did a YouTube video on it. People love it. I always keep that in the refrigerator. So all it is bison. I minimize the cost because I only use half a can of beans. The normal recipe is 2 cans of beans. I put 7 peppers, onions. So whenever I'm hungry, I know that's there. If I don't have that chili, then I may have a big pot of homemade chicken soup, which are also super healthy. This one I love, but it's a little bit more carby. I love escarole and bean soup. So easy to make. Escarole, you cans of beans, garlic. I mean, these are things. The whole key, I think, is you never want to get caught. And what I mean by get caught is you don't want to come home, or and say, I'm hungry. Grab some chips. Like what do I eat? If you always have chili in the refrigerator, and Texas chili, I know we got some Texas people here, is the best. They use bean-free chili, right? You got a pot of chicken soup, you got some escarole and bean, you got some minestrone soup in the refrigerator. You're never gonna get caught. You make a big turkey, you keep the turkey, you slice some turkey off there. It's such an easy way to eat healthy. Okay, Gabriel, let's see, Gabriel here from San Antonio, Texas. Cool. I'm following everything you're recommending except weightlifting, I'm assuming weightlifting, as I don't have any idea what to do or how to start. I'm 46, 269, would love to get to 220. You can start off so easy, Gabriel. First of all, you can go to YouTube, you can watch an endless amount of videos, but I would be really, really simple. First of all, walking within itself, especially at 269, is going to put on muscle. It will, because you're moving, you have a lot of extra weight. I find most people, if you're somewhat active, even just moving, even just working, you're more muscular than you think because you got a backpack of 70 pounds on your back. Your legs are probably strong as could be. You look at these arm wrestlers, those world champion arm wrestlers, they're 300 pounds, some of these guys, 260, 270. And these linemen, whatever. So I would definitely start walking, no question about it. And if you wanted to just keep it super, super simple, I would just do, they call them air squats, body weight squats. Something really simple like that. Maybe push-ups initially, if you can't do them off the ground, do them off a countertop, right? Holding a plank, really simple, basic movements. This is like a routine sometimes I give to my private coaching clients when they go on vacation. I got a guy now actually on vacation doing this. All I want him to do, I said, do 25 jumping jacks, do 20 air squats, do 15 lunges, do 20 push-ups, hold the plank for 60 seconds, do 2 rounds, takes you 10 minutes. You can just do stuff as easy as that. I know I'm throwing these exercises at you, Gabriel, and you may not actually know what they are, but look them up on YouTube. If you want, you can drop me a comment underneath this live stream. I'll list them out for you. I think I've even done some videos on them too. I got tons of videos. I used to do a lot of exercise videos, but I stopped. I talk about mostly diet and healthy things now instead. But there's so many videos. Let's see. I eat chili. I will eat 2 to 3 bowls. I know. I mean, hey, even 2 to 3 bowls, calorie-wise, is not too bad. My chili, I figured it out. I use 3 pounds of bison when I do it. So I look at it as I want 50 grams of protein per serving. It's about 350 calories, 360 per bowl. So if you had 2 bowls, you're at 700. Not that bad. 700 calories for a meal with like close to 100 grams of protein is pretty. The protein to calorie ratio is very good on something like that. What I typically do is that I may have an avocado along with a nice bowl of chili because I want more fiber, and the avocado really fills you up as well too. I don't think you can get too hurt eating chili unless you're buying these like commercial chili that has a ton of beans in it, and they're adding, some people put sugar in their chili, they put, they put things in it that increases the calories. But my chili is such a, I don't know if you want to use the term clean, plus bison, talk about lean. Okay, I've bought 90% lean chopped meat, which I think that's a great way to do it too, and it's less expensive than the bison. But even with 90% lean chopped meat, I like to cook the meat first before I put it in the chili. You still get a lot of fat, and I drain the fat out of it. But when I use bison, buffalo, there's like nothing to drain. Bison is incredible. It's one of the lowest fat meats out there, and I love the taste of it. It tastes great. It tastes incredibly good. San Antonio. I didn't realize so many people from Texas. That's great. That's great. I think the good music scene in Texas. I always want to go to Austin. Well, my daughter went with all her friends. She loved it. Okay, let's go now to. That's why I really wanted to drive this on. Let me give you more ideas of like what I mean by healthy protein. Chicken breast, lean, right? Turkey for burgers, meatballs, fish, salmon, tuna, tilapia, omega-3 fatty acid, like the healthy fats in there. Eggs, hard-boiled eggs, snacks. These are things you want to keep in the house. You can keep the beans, like if you're making that pot of chili, use half a can of beans instead of like 2 cans of beans. I don't think quinoa is bad, but it really should be an accent to a dish. Don't think you're getting all your protein from quinoa. You have to take in so many calories, like the Greek yogurt, the tofu. If you're a lot of vegetarians contact me and say, Mike, give me some vegetarian ideas. Let me go to the next one. Oh, there's the healthy fats, right? I guess I'm repeating myself a little bit. I think it's supposed to be the carb one. Yeah. Leafy greens would be my top choices. Colorfuls. Eat a rainbow color of vegetables, right? Don't always go green. You got green peppers, you got yellow peppers, you got red peppers. Every single color has different vitamins, different minerals, different nutrients. That's why they use the term a rainbow color of fruits and vegetables. Like eat your blueberries, then eat your red raspberries, right? Then eat your green grapes, your red grapes. Really, really mix it up. Same thing with your vegetables. You got yellow squash, right? You got Brussels sprouts and broccoli green. Cauliflower's right. Beets are red. Everything gives you different nutrition. And that's why I prefer sweet potatoes over white potatoes. There's more nutrition in there. And I think the oats and everything is fun. Just keep an eye on the calories. And some of these pastas now, you can buy these pastas that have a good amount of protein in them. So I like the higher protein pastas for sure. And once again, like I said, the healthy fats are going to come from the natural food you're eating. I'm going to give you specific examples, I think in a slide or two, of actual meals for you guys to check out. So we got the nuts, the seeds, olive oil, avocado. I think the nut butters are okay, but keep an eye on the calories with the nut butters. The fatty fish is one of my favorite sources of fats because you're getting the omega-3s, those essential fatty acids that I have to get to your diet. Plus, it's good for reducing inflammation in the body, good for brain health, things like that. Cheeses in moderation, hard cheeses I think are probably the best. And dark chocolate, like 85% or higher. Pretty good, actually. High in magnesium. Keep an eye on it though, calorie wise. Do like 1 row. That's what I typically like to do. Let's see. I have been eating 2,500 calories 4 days a week and 1,500 calories 3 days a week. What do you think? No, I think that's great. As long as it's getting you what you want to do. I love the cycling the calories like that. On the days you're eating 25, I don't know if that's maintenance for you. Maybe that's maintenance. If you're cycling from maintenance to deficit 15, that I really love. Because it minimizes that metabolic adaptation. It keeps your metabolism up. So I absolutely love that. But the only thing I would say is that even when you do 1,500 calories on your lower calorie day, still keep your protein up, right? Don't cut back on protein on low calorie days. That's the key. You want to reduce your fat and reduce your carbs, but always keep your protein up because you want to maintain that muscle mass. You're not really, you can do 1 low protein day if you're doing obviously do a 24-hour fast. You're not taking in any calories, no protein. Or on an OMAD day. But even when I do OMAD, I still try to get in at least probably maybe 100 grams of protein. So I'm a little bit low. But try to keep your protein up on those 1,500 calorie days. That sounds great. I love it. Okay, and this is an important slide. This is how I would look at how you should structure your meals. Meaning that you're ready to make dinner. How should your plate look? This is what I try to keep on talking about in all those videos I put on Instagram and my shorts on YouTube. Is really meal structure, because most of my meals that I post probably about 850 calories, 800 calories. Sometimes I go as low as 6. But women will contact me and say, Mike, that's too much food. Obviously it is. But the educational part of those videos is the structure of the meals. So first, you want to have a general idea of how many calories you want your meal to be and how many grams of protein, but you can always use this structure. Each meal should be 1 part protein. You can look at it like this. Say you're a gal who's relatively petite, like my wife, 115 pounds. I would want her to have maybe 1 palmful of protein. That's going to be about 5 ounces. It's going to be about 40 grams of protein, right? Whereas me, I would do at least 2 or 2 fistfuls of protein. So I want like 60, I want 9 ounces, I want 60, 65 grams of protein. So first, you always want to get your protein in. Think protein first. You know, the phrase is prioritize protein with every meal. The second thing you want to do is they pick 2 different colors of fruits and vegetables. For lunch, I always throw fruit. I'll throw blueberries, oranges, raspberries, banana, whatever I want. And then I'll generally pick a vegetable. Or I'll do like an avocado and blueberry. So I may have an arugula salad, which is green, right? That's like a leafy green. Then I have my avocado, which is green again, but that's more of a fruit, super high in fiber. Then I might throw some blueberries in, and then I always have a nice big piece of protein, whether it's chicken, fish, meat, whatever it might be. But for dinner, it would be like, I'm not going to have a salad for dinner, but I generally have a nice big piece of protein again. If I had fish for lunch, maybe I'll do chicken, turkey, or something else for dinner. 2 different colored vegetables. I may have broccoli, red beets. I may have string beans, right, yellow squash. Structure your meals like that. Always think protein and then 2 different colors to accompany the protein, and adjust portion size depending upon what calories you're at. But other good sources, like if I'm going to have a snack like a Greek yogurt with little ground flaxseed and some blueberries, I love that. You know, you're making eggs in the morning, 3 or 4 whole eggs, half an avocado, right, a few blueberries. Now this is how you have to structure your meals. The cool thing is about those pots of like the chicken soup and the chili and the escarole and bean, you're pretty much getting all that combined in one. Like when I make my chili, there's like 7 green peppers. I think there's 2 onions, so it's green, white. Then you get half a can of beans, and then you get the chili, and then you're getting the tomato sauce, right? You know, so you're getting so many different colors of fruits, of vegetables right there, plus the animal protein. It's just like getting it all in a pot. So in my opinion, that's your best structure. I'll give you some exact examples too. Oh, this is the other thing I want to talk about. This is such a key. This is I have to remember the name of these researchers, but there's a group of researchers, I think they're based out of New Zealand, who tried to figure out, like, why do people overeat? Like, what is one of the main reasons why people keep eating when they just don't feel satisfied and this and that? And they came up with this theory saying it's the protein leverage hypothesis. And what this hypothesis states is that they feel, and I totally agree, that people will keep on eating calories until they hit their protein requirement for the day. So let's say you're a 200-pound guy, right? And your protein requirement, say 150 grams of protein. That's what your body desires. That's what your body needs to maintain the muscle mass, to feel good, to be strong. But if you keep on eating foods that have a low protein to calorie ratio, like we talked about in the beginning of this live stream, like if you're trying to get all your protein from like rice and beans and quinoa, or you're only eating like 2 ounces of like, or you're having like 2 eggs, you're going to keep on eating. You're going to keep on being hungry. That's why prioritizing protein, besides it making you fill, has the highest satiety. It's nutrient dense. It's giving you so much, a lot of bang for the buck. I mean, you're getting so much out of that protein, health-wise, vitamins, minerals, nutrients. And that's what they mean by the protein leverage hypothesis. That's why I always look at the protein to calorie ratio of foods. Try to hit those protein numbers while keeping your calories down. You're just going to eat less, which is great. So that's what I mean. I think that's the key. A lot of people believe in it, some people don't. I'm a big believer in it. Okay, so let me give you some exact meal examples, then we'll do a little more QA. How long have we got? Now, 53 minutes. This is great. This is flying by. I'm actually really enjoying this, which is fun. Haven't done this in a while. I'm curious, is everyone here, I'd like to know, everyone here watching me on YouTube, do we have anyone here from LinkedIn, anyone here from Facebook? I'd love to know that. I'm just curious, because I think this is going out. We got some people on Facebook, I see. Oh yeah, I didn't see this, Andre. Is the bodybuilding photo of you? Yes, that's of me. That's of me. You can't tell. I mean, you really can't tell with with my shirt on here and everything. I'm kind of like a lean bodybuilder. But that picture, I think I was maybe 57 in that picture, and I'm 61 now. But I look close to that. I got a bad knee that really affects my bodybuilding a little bit. Like I can't do those heavy squats and stuff like that like I used to do. It just bothers my It bothers my knee. I walk a lot and I do a lot of different things. But, you know, I'm 61, I'm an old man, you know. I just stay lean and I feel real good. You know, that's the main thing. Okay, we got a combination. Thanks, guys. So we got Dorothy from Facebook, Marilyn, Facebook, YouTube. Okay, good. So that's good. Because no one from LinkedIn. That's great. I appreciate it. Okay, good. So let's go on this last slide, which is really, I wanted to give you everyone some meal examples. Let me pull this up. See, this is kind of cool. You know what? I'm gonna make this really big. I'm gonna cover up my face. I want you guys to really see this. I'm just gonna talk over this because this is like a real important slide. Let me break down these meals. So this is like exactly what I was talking about. Like, you see the top, this is such a perfect meal. I mean, calorie to protein ratio. So we got a can of sardines. I love sardines because you're eating the whole fish, meaning that you're getting the skin, you're getting the bones, so you're getting the connective tissue. So you're getting calcium, you're getting protein, high omega-3s. See, a can of sardines, the brand I like is the Lisa and Henry's brand. 21 grams of protein. I buy a packed in extra virgin olive oil. If you want to lower calories, you can just buy the virgin packed in water. I think it's the best brand. It just tastes great. They give you like 3 or 4 really big sardines. But see, I want more than 21 grams of protein when I eat. So I also added about 4 or 5 ounces of smoked salmon. That's going to bring this meal up to 55, 60 grams of protein. Avocado. Perfect high fiber, high protein meal. This is an example of like, say, a breakfast, or maybe say you're breaking your fast at 10 o'clock. 4 pasture-raised eggs. Go pasture-raised. You know, I feel like some people are saying, maybe you don't want to block myself out. Let me go like this. Maybe this will be a little better. Let me move the camera. I don't want to lose people just when they come then they just see that. 4 pasture-raised eggs, and once again, 6-7 grams of protein per egg. So that's 7. That's about 25, 28 grams. I always want more. Had a little bit of leftover salmon, maybe Arctic char from the night before. Pops this meal up to 50 grams of protein. My avocado today, that time I had an apple, right? This is what I'm talking about. Protein, 2 different colors. Here's an example here. This is chicken thighs, arugula salad, avocado, apple, couple of potatoes I had left over from the night before. I agree. Do every Saturday. So you like, okay, I'll try to do this every Saturday if I can. Let's see. Cool. Okay. Gives me hope seeing you healthy and strong in your 60s. Inspires me to keep going. Always love your content, Mike. 1 avocado a day. Oh, thanks so much. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much. I do. Yeah, it's funny because this every now and then, I don't have that many followers. What do I have on Instagram? I must have 120,000 followers. I think YouTube I'm at 40,000. But every now and then, even with those few followers, I was in the supermarket about 2 months ago, and luckily I'm holding 2 avocados in my hand. And a man and his wife came up to me and said, Mike Cola, oh my God, we watch you on like Instagram, and you're holding 2 avocados. You really do eat it. I said, I eat an avocado every day. I mean, I really do. It was so perfect. I'm glad I wasn't holding like a bunch of cupcakes in my hand or something like that. I would have said, oh, I'm bringing this home to my kids. But they actually saw me holding 2 avocados. I love avocados. Some people get on my case though sometimes just with that, saying, oh, they require a lot of water and blah blah blah. But yeah, I don't know. You have to eat something, right? Okay. So this would be another example here. So we get some shrimp. I love shrimp. I eat shrimp all the time. I sauteed these shrimp with a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. And I like curry spices, you know, great for inflammation too. And this is not rice. This is like cauliflower, vegetable rice. So I got cauliflower, there's some peppers in there. And I do eat sweet potatoes. This is a sweet potato. Look at the color here in this meal. 60 grams of protein, super healthy meal. That's somewhat repetitive. Blueberries instead of, just smoked salmon blueberries. This is just I think that's a 5% yogurt, that particular one. And you may not be able to see it. I throw in like a shot glass of ground flaxseed, blueberries. This is a great meal. I love this. 2 big pieces of filet mignon, orange, avocado, some blueberries, arugula salad. I mean, I love that. I make that all the time. It's one of my go-to meals. This is another one of my go-to meals. If you can see, I always keep blueberries, avocados in the refrigerator, and some type of protein. I've made multiple videos like this where grill up some chicken, takes me 10 minutes. I just EVOO, salt, pepper, garlic powder, little curry spices, oregano. I pour a little bit of white wine, cover it. Less than 10 minutes is done. While that's cooking, I cut up the avocado, wash some blueberries. It takes me 10 minutes. And if you notice, I do eat the same things over and over again. And some people can get on my case for that. I think it's a great thing to do. Like I'm saying, in your normal 9 to 5 life, you know, Monday to Saturday. Eat the same things over and over again. Come up with 10 meals like this that you can make in less than 15 minutes. I've done a lot of videos talking about this. It makes your life so much simpler. I mean, you know, once a week you go out on a Saturday night, you do whatever you want, eat whatever you want. But most of the time, eat the same 10 meals over and over again. You know the calories. Plus, if you're tracking everything, it's so easy. And I even give you an example of me eating at I had this in the Hamptons. This is one of my favorite seafood restaurants. If you ever go to the Hamptons, Hamptons is kind of like a real fun, like beach type place to go to in the New York area. You know, somewhat expensive though, like to stay there because there aren't too many hotels, so most people have homes or rent homes there. Kind of like the jet set, like Miami, you know, like we like the Monte Carlo of New York. And this is, it just is a simple, I like simple places. This, if you notice at the paper plate, this is flounder. They give you like 2 pounds of flounder. Look at this. Yeah, I love this restaurant. And this is only like $19, $19.95. It's the best deal in the Hamptons. I wouldn't have put all that butter on it, but I'm on vacation. I ate it. But still, this is my structure. String beans, cherry tomatoes, some white potatoes. This is so simple. This is how you have to eat, guys, gals. You can't go wrong with it. Come up with 10 meals like this that you can make for lunch and dinner super simply. Keep that chili in the refrigerator. Keep some chicken soup, some escarole beans, some minestrone. Get the trigger foods out of your house, you know. Spend 1 week tracking your calories. It's all calories and protein. You can be any goal weight you want to be. You really can. Did I miss this? No. All right, guys. That's good. So let me see. I got a couple more minutes. I plan on going an hour. We're exactly 1 hour and 1 minute. This was really fun. Let me know. Any questions before I go? Any general questions at all? Fitness, health, weight loss, your routine. Let me get rid of this. Let me get another. Let me just. It's that funny. That's my camera that's on the computer, but I use a special camera. Any general questions? I know sometimes there's a little bit of a delay. I'm doing a kooky thing here. I'm doing I do this every now and then to increase like pH. I'm drinking like baking soda right now, a half a teaspoon of baking soda and some honey. And I do that every now and then. So I guess I am breaking my fast a little bit with the honey. But there's some good stuff in honey too. But after this, I'm going to take a second walk because I did a nice, I did a pretty aggressive treadmill walk this morning. I generally don't do, when I'm walking on the treadmill at home, I generally go easy. But I did some intervals this morning. I was walking about 3.5 miles per hour, and I went as high as 10 degrees. My treadmill goes up to 10 degrees, so you walk 3.5 miles an hour, 15 degrees, at a 15 degree incline, you get a nice interval spike there, which is good. Hey, Jeff, thanks for showing up, Jeff. I haven't seen you in a while. I hope all is good with you. Hey, Mike, I've been super busy. Good to see you on live again. Best advice for finding time to walk in the busy schedule. Oh, that's great. Thanks, Jeff. Thanks for showing up. I'm gonna try to start doing these lives again, maybe Saturday afternoon. Because I don't know if you heard the beginning, Jeff. That time slot I used to go live. Now I do the private coaching group. I go live every Sunday at 11, so I've been doing that there. Suffered from constipation. Any suggestions? Yeah, you can try magnesium citrate. That's helped a lot of my clients. Magnesium citrate, I would do 400 milligrams of magnesium citrate. You can do it late at night too, like after dinner. Magnesium like that citrate will suck water into your colon. I find it really, really helps with constipation a lot too. I don't know if you want to try. It's debatable, the fiber. Sometimes it helps, sometimes it hurts. But I find magnesium is almost work for every single person. Sometimes if you're not drinking enough liquids too, just drinking more water, being really well hydrated can really help. Can you eat bone broth? Can you eat bone in chicken thighs and boneless chicken thighs? Air fry. I think that sounds good. Vanda, I think that's fine. It's all the calories. Just keep an eye on the calories. Like the chicken thighs will be higher than the boneless chicken. Oh, boneless chicken thighs, you're saying? Yeah, no, I think it's totally fine. I think it's great. I finally got an air fryer. I know Chris was telling me an air fryer. I finally got one. I bought one that does everything. There's like a big. It was a Cuisinart like toaster oven air fryer. I like the air fryer a lot too. It does work. I don't really bread things too much unless I'm doing it like for my kids, because I don't want the calories from like the breading it. But I do it for other things. Use the air fryer. Let's see. Any recommendation? Okay, any recommendation on guys in late 30s trying to increase T levels through any specific exercise, meaning something that would really make an impact on doing something simple? You know what, Rue? I would more rather you focus on. The weightlifting is going to help to some degree, but there's no real exercise, in my opinion, that's going to really increase your testosterone levels. I would say I would focus more on just healthy lifestyle. I think sleep is probably the #1 thing you can do. Like if you can truly, in your 30s and you're working out, if you can sleep a minimum, like really sleep 8 hours, I don't think there's anything better. And you get into that deep REM sleep for elevating testosterone. I think it's more overall lifestyle as opposed to any specific exercise. Yes, that's maybe if you're doing those, I'm not sure you're doing them, those compound movements like the squats, your deadlifts, things like that, you get that little bit of that testosterone response post workout. But sometimes if you work out too long, you can decrease testosterone levels. I would focus more on just a healthy lifestyle, like not drinking too much. Alcohol can mess with you. Not going too low on fat. Like sometimes people who do very low fat diets can mess up with the testosterone. I think sleep is, and I just see it from the clients that I've trained over the years. People don't sleep, especially when you get older. In your 30s, I sleep pretty good. I shouldn't say that. I'm a pretty good sleeper. But most of my clients over 50 are not good sleepers. And I think there's a direct correlation I have found with people who don't sleep well with those lower testosterone levels in men. But in your 30s, you're so young and you're probably so fit and all that. Try to sleep. If you can sleep 9 hours, even like my kids, my son's like in his 20s, he can sleep 9 hours. It's great. He's in incredible shape. He was an amazing runner. My son, my daughter too. But I would try that. I'm on YouTube. Oh, you're on YouTube. Cool. That's great. See, did I miss anything else? Let me give you another minute. Maybe I'll go till 10 here. Awesome, thanks. Oh, no, thanks for showing up. I appreciate it. Yeah, I would focus on sleep and just being, even your mood can affect this testosterone. Testosterone is very complex. And there's free testosterone, and that's the main number you want to be, like 2% of your total testosterone. Let's see. All right, any other questions, guys? I'll give you another minute, and then I'm going to bolt. I'm going to get my another walk-in. All right, thanks. I really appreciate you showing up. Chris, thanks so much for the super chat. Chris is always giving me money any chance he can. And keep in mind, guys, if you want to work with me one-on-one in my private coaching program, just leave a comment below this video. I think there's even a link on top of my YouTube channel. But if you're on Instagram, you can go to Instagram, your direct message, you DM me the word coach. You'll see a few questions, so I can learn about your goals, and you can book a free video call with me. People are doing incredibly well. There's a ton of accountability if I work with you one-on-one. I'm going to text you every day. I'm going to see what you're eating. I designed the workout, the meal plan. There's a group coaching call every Sunday like this, but it's a Zoom call, so you get to see everybody in the Zoom call. We do bi-weekly one-on-one video calls like this. There's an onboarding call which lasts like 60, 90 minutes. It's a ton of accountability. Most coaches that you hire don't contact you every day. There's like they contact you maybe once a week. There's like a once a week touch point. I'm not like that. That's why you got to be ready. Every single day, I'm gonna contact you with a text or a video. I want to make sure you're on track. So a ton of accountability. Okay, Jeff. Okay. Well, you don't really answer my question. What was your question, Jeff? Maybe I missed one. Let me backtrack. Something about D, about getting vitamin D. Is that? Let me backtrack. Let me see if I missed it. Okay. Hey, Mike, I've been super busy. Good to see you on live again. Best advice for finding time to walk. Oh, best advice for finding time to walk on a busy schedule. You know what, Jeff? I still would say first thing in the morning. I probably would. Just because before your day gets out of hand, even if you got to wake up a half hour earlier. I find people do the best. That's where I love getting that early morning walk. And sometimes I have a 6 o'clock client, but he's away a lot. And then I'll do it later. But if you do it first thing in the morning, you just can't go wrong, and it's done. And and I always say a short workout, a short walk is better than no walk. Even if you did 20 minutes first thing in the morning. When you say you're going to do it later in the day, and then the day just gets away from you, or you're going to do it like before dinner or after dinner, it gets away from you. I'm not sure if you have a treadmill in the house. If you have a treadmill in the house, then it's super easy. First thing in the morning, even if you have to wake up a half hour earlier, I would do that for sure. I hope that answered your questions. That's what you meant. Okay to snack on cashews and almonds. Cashews are pretty caloric, Gabriel. I mean, if you're within your calorie limits, yes. Almonds I like, but the only thing about almonds is out of all the nuts, is probably the highest in oxalates. I keep an eye on my oxalates. Oxalates are those things that can potentially lead towards kidney stones and cause joint pain and things like that. I cut back on my almonds. I used to love them. I think it's still a good snack, But the nuts that I generally snack on, I go with more pistachios. I like those a lot. Just keep it on the calories. But I think cashews and almonds are fine. I would probably lean more towards the cashews over the almonds. Walking first thing or take 30. Okay. This is Susan. She's helping out, Jeff. Walking first thing or take 30 at work and just do it. Yeah, I agree with you, Sue. That's another thing, Jeff. If you know you get a lunch break every single day at work and you get an hour, 30 minutes of that hour could be walking. And that could be just a concrete thing, too. That's a great suggestion. Hey, Pure Water Little, thanks for showing up. Sending regards from Europe. I haven't seen you all. Thanks for showing up. I'm watching your content every time I have an opportunity. Y'all, thanks so much. That's so nice. I appreciate it. All right, guys, I'm going to go. Great to see you. We had a pretty good showing today since I haven't gone live for a while. I had like 30, 40 people showed up. That's great. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, guys. Thanks for all the support. I really appreciate it. Take care. And I'm going to start. I'll announce it like a day in advance going forward when I'm going to do the live stream so you can get ready. Okay? Take care, everybody. Thanks.